In preparing for some new piping videos, I was looking for an assembly model to use, and I came across this one. It has some interesting design problems to solve, including circular references. But let me show you how to solve some of these different problems. First off, when I retrieved this assembly, I noticed that it has 6 suppressed features or components. Hey, if you have suppressed objects, you really should take care of them. If I scroll down in the model tree, I see a part called Stairs 1, which has a filled-in black box next to it. That means that it is suppressed. If I left-click on it, it will bring up the mini toolbar, and this icon is the resume icon, which allows me to bring that component back. Now I have a nice set of stairs going up the assembly. The next thing that I notice is that I've got a flag in the notification center. If I click on the notification center, it tells me that I have 1 circular reference and 8 outdated pipe solids. Let's open the notification center. The first thing that I'll do is take care of the outdated pipe solids. I will expand the list here, and it shows that they are in the rails assembly. Right now I'm in the skid assembly, as you can see from the top node in the model tree, also the top bar in the interface. The easy way to take care of outdated pipe solids, well, I'm going to select them. I'll just select one of them and then use the shift key to select the other ones. If you take a look in the model, it is the upper rail in the upper right part of this assembly. I will right click and choose Update Pipe Solid. And then we are down to 1 notification. Let me click on the notification center once more. We have 1 circular reference. Let's open it. And when I expand here, it says that it is in the skid assembly. It's in the top level assembly. I'd like to go right to the model tree in order to resolve this. Let me scroll up. Let me collapse one of these sub-assemblies. Let me go to the top node. You can see that we have that yellow triangle indicating a notification. I will right mouse click and hold and then go to Information and Reference Viewer. Let me move this dialog box over to the side. The way that you can start investigating circular references is by going to the Paths tab, and I can see that there are actually 2 circular paths in here. I'll click on the first one, and it shows that there's one between the floor beam left in the skid assembly. If I hover my mouse over the name of the component, you can see where it is. And we can also see that there's this little double arrow icon. So we see that the problem is between the component itself and this particular protrusion, and it's a protrusion in that particular part. So that's one of the 2 problems. And if I go to circular path 2, we can see that there is an issue between a component in the pipe support rig subassembly and protrusion ID 11. That's in an individual part. If I click on the down arrows, we can see that the issue is with 3 different surfaces in here that are used as references, and we have the little circular icon. I'm going to take care of the subassembly first. I like to start at the bottom and work my way up with those different issues. So I'm going to look for that particular subassembly. Here it is. I will click on it and then use the open icon from the mini toolbar. And this is a relatively simple assembly. Let's start diagnosing the problem. And in here once more, I can go to the top node of the model tree, right click on it, Information Reference Viewer, and the Paths tab, find circular paths. Here we have the one that's in here between those different objects, the component in the assembly and this particular protrusion. Well, to investigate, I'm going to close the reference viewer and I'm going to take a look at the component. I'm going to left click on it and then click on the edit definition icon in the toolbar just to take a look at the constraints. So I see that there is a coincident constraint between this particular part, which is called PS horizontal 2 and then PS horizontal 1. And you can see the references that are highlighted between them. Then we have a coincident constraint, and it looks like it's between the surfaces at the back. Let me rotate the model so that you can see it over here. All right, so we've got those two flat surfaces. And the third constraint looks like it's between, let me zoom out and then rotate, these surfaces over here. All right, so that's pretty standard for how you place a component in the assembly, but now I'm familiar with how it was placed in the model. Let's cancel out, and I want to take a look at that feature in the part that it was telling me was having an issue. And let's open up this part in its own separate window. And when I do that, the first thing I notice is that we have a protrusion, and it's got this little symbol, which is a half filled in box. You will sometimes see that in older models from Pro Engineer 2001 and back in the day. Back then, you used to be able to create incomplete features in a model. If I right-click on this feature, I can go to Edit Definition, and I can see that there's no sketch that's defined for this. If I click on the Define button, there's no sketch plane or anything in here. I don't know what this feature is supposed to be. If you come across these incomplete features, often you can just delete them from the model and you won't have any issues whatsoever. And in this particular part model, there's really only one feature. Let's take a look at it. I will edit definition. And first off, I can see that the thickness is in red. That's a problem. But let's go to the Edit tab. And let's go to our sketch view to take a look at this. And I'm going to zoom in over here. This looks fairly straightforward. I don't see anything going wrong in here. I mean, it's just a square. Let's take a look at our reference for this. And we can see, okay, there's DTM1 and DTM3. It's using some local references. That's not a problem. If I go to the sketch setup, well, it's using DTM2 from the model. It's using DTM1. Again, it's using local references. So there's no real problem with the sketch itself. So I'm going to cancel out of the sketch. And here I decide, you know what, before I even take care of anything else, let's take care of this issue with the red. In this particular situation, it's saying that there's a problem with trying to use a thickness value of 3, which you're like, hey, what's going on here? If you see something like that, it's often an issue with the model accuracy. It has to deal with the smallest curve length that Creo Parametric is capable of seeing. So I'm going to cancel out of the extrude for a moment. And a lot of times the way that you can take care of accuracy issues is by changing from a relative accuracy to an absolute accuracy. To change the accuracy, you can go to File and then Prepare, Model Properties. And here we have the accuracy. Yep, it's using the old default value of 0.0012. I will click on the Change button, and I'm going to change from relative to absolute. And this is even a pretty big value. It's using a value of 1.1 millimeters. You could see in that extrude feature or the protrusion feature, it was trying to use a thickness of 3, so it was having problems. A better accuracy is something lower. I think even something like 0.1. I think that might be the default default absolute accuracy for Creo Parametric now. But I regenerate and change that and click the close button. Let's go back to the protrusion and edit definition. Hey, we no longer have red for the thickness of this protrusion. If I go to the options tab, whoa, I see that this is using a reference. It's using a depth reference for the feature. When I hover my mouse over it, I can see that it is that PS horizontal 1 part. So it is using as a depth reference a surface from the part that it is assembled to. That's an example of a circular reference. And when you take a look at it in here, it's like, it's sitting over there on the side. That's where the reference is. So it's kind of even looking weird to begin with. The easy way to take care of this circular reference is change the depth reference to a variable depth and just use a numerical value. Let's figure out what the depth of this feature is. So to do that, let's hop over to the Analysis tab. and I will measure a length, and let's pick one of the edges in here, and I can see the value. You can either write that down or you can right click on the value and choose copy, and then I'll close this. Let's go back to the protrusion, edit definition, and for the depth, I'll change it from to reference to variable, and it gives a suggested value in here, which is not what I want to use. So I will right click and then paste my copied value. Let's hit the enter key so it takes the value, and you can see a preview of it. I will hit the check mark, and everything looks good in the part model. I will close it. Now I'm back to the assembly. Let's try regenerating. And when I do that, the notification warning went away. We can right mouse click on the top node and once again go to Information, Reference Viewer, Paths, and find circular paths. Hey, when I click on it, nothing shows up in here. We have no circular references. So that takes care of the first issue. Let me close that and go back to this window, and I'm going to hit the regenerate button. And we still have a circular reference in here. Once again, I will go to the top node of the model tree, and just to refresh our memories, if I go to Information Reference Viewer and then the Paths tab, we can see our circular path in here. And it has to do with this particular component, the left floor beam, where you can see as I move over where it is flashing, and a protrusion in that very same feature. So the first thing that very same part. Let me close this, and I'm going to go and take a look at this particular part. First off, let's select it and edit definition to take a look at how it was placed in the assembly. Now I can see that first it has a coincident constraint to a part called upright. Okay, that is fairly straightforward. Let's click on coincident, and I can see if I zoom around that it has a reference to a surface in another instance of that same part called upright. And the third constraint looks like it is going to an assembly level datum right at the top level. So everything seems okay in here. Let me click the cancel button. But now let's start taking a look at the part itself. I will select it and click on the open button. And here we can see protrusion ID 7. That is the one that it was warning about in the reference viewer, the one feature that it was saying has the circular reference. So I will edit definition, and let's take a look at the internal section. I will click on the edit button. Let me go to a sketch view, and let me just grab some of these dimensions, just move them a little bit closer so I can zoom in. Sometimes the dimensions end way up out in space. And let's zoom in a little bit more. If you find the constraint icons distracting, you can always turn off their display. You can go to this drop-down list in the in-graphics toolbar and turn them off. But this is a fairly straightforward sketch. It is basically just an inverted T with a bunch of different dimensions in here. By the way, if you turn off the constraint display, be sure to turn it back on before you leave the sketch. Let's take a look at its sketch references. Okay, it's using DTM1 and DTM2 from the model. It's just using some local references. Same thing if I go to the sketch setup, it's using DTM3 from the model and DTM2. So this is telling me that the problem is not with the sketch. Let's cancel out of the sketch. I'll click yes out of there. So that's not the problem. And next when I take a look, let's take a look at the depth. Oh wait, it's using to reference once more. And I can see that, okay, the first depth reference is to a surface in a part called upright. The second depth reference is to another surface in the part called upright. If I zoom out a little bit, I can see where these are flashing the model. Again, it looks kind of weird where they are. Oh, look, it's even out all the way there to the side. So this is a classic mistake people make in getting circular references. They decide, hey, let me design this part and I'll use geometry in the assembly in order to drive the depth so that I know that the depth is going to be correct. But then they go back and then assemble the component to those very same references. That is the classic definition of a circular reference. Once again, we can take care of this problem just by changing to a variable depth. So let's hit the cancel button out of here, and I will take a measurement. Let's go to the analysis tab, measure a length, and I'm going to measure the overall length of the part, and it is 13,200. Let's right click on the value and copy it. Then I'll click the close button out of here. And let's try changing that protrusion. I will edit definition. Let's go to the options tab. Let's change this to a variable depth. Let me paste the value in here. I'll hit the enter key so that the value is taken. And actually for this one, let's change this to symmetric. There we go. Yeah, because if I remember, this beam was assembled to an assembly datum plane in the middle, so symmetric depth would make more sense. So I will hit the check mark. Uh-oh, I had a couple features fail. We had a cut fail over here. Let's edit definition, and it's this one over here. Let's edit the sketch, and we have a problem with one of our sketch references. So it looks like, let me rotate the model. When we changed from using a specific surface to the depth, well, it probably changed the ID of this particular surface in the feature. So in the sketch references dialog box, there is a little replace button. So we can replace with this surface, and then we can hit the solve button. It's fully placed. Let's close out of here and hit the check mark, and then hit the check mark out of the extrude. So the first failure is taken care of, but now we have another feature that is failing. Let's edit the definition of this cut. Let's edit the sketch. And once again, it's that side surface. Probably lost its ID when we changed to a symmetric depth. Let's use the replace button and pick this surface to replace the reference. We can solve, close, hit the check mark to get out of sketch mode, hit the check mark to complete the extrude, and we have no more failures in this particular part. Let's close this part, and I will hit the regenerate button in the assembly, and the little flag for the notification went away. We still have a regeneration issue. You can hit the regenerate button, but it stays open. This is a bit of a complex assembly. If I go to the regeneration manager, well, it looks like there's a whole bunch of pipe features among other different things that require a regeneration based on how they were created with external references. Just a lot of pipe features in here. But anyhow, we have taken care of the circular references in the assembly. So I hope this provides some guidance if you come across circular references in your legacy assemblies.